All right, gang, welcome back to our one-tile challenge here in Calm Lands. It is August, and we're starting the baling process here. We've got weeds growing, obviously, because it's been, a month here, right? So the weeds are growing. I've got the worker continuing on the harvest over there. We've got to harvest that field, the oat field over there, and then this field over here, which I believe is another wheat field. All of these have to be harvested today. Another day full of harvesting, and we're going to be following as quickly as we can behind the harvester and baling up all of the straw that we have here. It's going to be a lot of straw here. We're probably going to be selling this straw whenever it's best to sell, whether it's now or later on in the season. Well, whether it's now or I guess next month. I think next month is when we can actually harvest the rice field. And we're going to have to get that harvester here pretty soon. And we don't have a whole lot of money, as you can tell, right? So we're going to have to do some drastic changes here. We're going to have to figure some things out here so we can hopefully make enough money to be able to buy that harvester. In case you happen to stumble across this, leasing is not allowed. That's why I'm saying we're not able to just lease that. We have to buy it outright. So we need to figure out some way to come up with $95,000. We have $21,000 right now, which is a decent amount of money, but it's not 95. We've got a long way to go to get to there. A long way to go. More than likely, what's going to end up happening is once we're able to get all of the straw baled up, we'll have to see where we are as far as the round bale net goes, if we are getting close to running out. We'll probably work on the grass a little bit as well. Try to get as much as we possibly can done today from a baling perspective, and then maybe sell this baler. What that might mean is we won't have anything to pick up grass for a little while, because we're going to sell it and take the money probably to buy the rice harvester. But we've got plenty of crop here that we're harvesting right now, right? And then if we count the rice too, there's plenty of rice we're going to get off the ground as well. So whenever it comes time again that we'll need to mow, we will have that option, that ability, I guess, to sell our harvests and hopefully make a little bit of money that way to be able to buy what we need. But it really just depends on how things go today. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. Okay, worker has a full tank, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn it off. I'm just going to drive it over here and unload it into the trailer. Now I'm also going to take a quick pit stop all the way up to the shop. We need to fill this thing up with some gas. As you can clearly tell, we are low, and I do not want to get into a situation where we run out of gas in the field, and then we've got to figure out some way to get gas down here into the harvester so we can get it moving along. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to unload this, so I'll head up to the shop. We'll fill up with some gas, then we can bring it back here and get the worker going again. Hail that happened overnight. Well, I guess it happened in the middle of the day, but after we stopped recording, there was a tiny bit of hail here. It hit a very, very, very small margin of this field here. Did not damage this field at all, which is fantastic. It did, however, damage this field, unfortunately. But, it's not too bad, I guess, all things considered. Obviously, it hit some other locations as well, but they've already been harvested, so it wasn't a big deal. We have got to get a power washer. Our equipment is dirty. We need to clean this sucker up, but that is a lower priority right now. That rice harvester is the priority. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is what we need to focus on right now. So we might have to deal with some more dirty equipment for a while. It is what it is. Good thing. What's in the used market? Anything? That Kubota's still out there, man. I love that thing, but yeah, we can't get that. As far as Mod Hub goes, there is a stone collector that came out there for $15,000. So very soon we will be able to pick up the stones off the ground at an easier pace than having to utilize the stone windrower that somebody in the comments told me about, and then utilizing a bucket. Nothing wrong with that approach, but it would just take a long time. The bucket we have, first off, does not hold that much. We would need some kind of counterweight on our tractor as well. Our tractor is not the... I was going to say sturdiest. Sturdy is probably not the right word to use, but it's not the most balanced as far as weight goes, I guess, is how I'll put it. So we would topple forward pretty quickly. All right, let's get the worker back set up here, moving along. They might not do the way that I want them to do it. That seems to be the issue sometimes, but we'll get them set up anyway, and they can just do whatever they want. All right, perfect. And we can jump back in here and keep on baling. And we're full again. That was quick. I probably should have just unloaded that before we jumped over there, but that's all right. So yeah, hopefully you're doing well. New series came out recently. I think I might have mentioned that in the last episode here, but it's been a couple of days since I've done a recording for this series, and yeah, it seems to be doing well. I'm very excited about it. I'm really happy with it. I think it's going to be a fun series. Something I've always wanted to do, just never was able to get it to come to fruition because of other things that we had planned on the docket or other ideas and things that were higher up the list, but felt like a good time to do it. The old vintage survival. It's not a challenge, but it is a vintage survival, starting with no money at all whatsoever, but we do have a decent amount of equipment we start with. Not everything we need, but a good amount. I'm a very big fan of old equipment. I think all of you pretty much know that if you've been around the channel for a while. So it's right up my alley. Love the map too. The map, the more I play that map, the more I'm really enjoying it. It is a well, it's quite the map first of all, but it's perfect for the small type of equipment or old equipment. It's absolutely perfect for it. The fields aren't too outrageously expensive either, so we can actually make some good progress. Really enjoying it. This series, we're making fantastic progress. We made some changes in the last episode, moved the shed, right? We've got some more things we want to move around and set up differently, which we will. But again, right now, my focus is to try to get some more money saved up. Because the rice technically can be harvested today, but our rice won't be ready until next month. Whoop, too far. Well, that's going to be a problem. I guess we'll have to deal with it when we get back here, I guess. I don't think the rice needs flooded again. I think it's long enough now. We'll go take a look at it here in a bit, but I think it's far enough along now that we don't need to flood the field anymore. Which might be a little bit unfortunate for the crawfish down there. They might be drying out a little bit, but I'm sure they'll find some small patches of water. They'll be okay. We have to utilize our imagination a bit for that mod anyway. As is the case with most mods, really, right? You got to use your imagination a bit. We're going to have a lot of bales here. A lot of straw bales. We've got 4 fields, I think, that are all going to produce straw, right? So we're going to be carting a lot of bales around. Now, the nice thing is, in case you stumbled across this, or maybe you missed it last time we did straw bales, our silage pole does allow us to put straw bales into it. Now, they can't be turned into silage or anything like that, but it'll at least store them for us, which is good, man. That means we can put them in there, and then whenever we want to sell them, right, we can just sell them directly into the trailer, which would allow us to be able to carry a little bit more than what we would get off of, 2 bales, basically, right? That way I don't have to stack them on the trailer or anything like that. You know how difficult that was back early on in this series. So I'll take any help I can get, and that would be one of those situations where it would absolutely be a help to be able to just put it into a trailer and then cart it back to the sale point. Yeah, the coal, it's definitely that little farmer's market that's the problem. I don't understand why. I feel like somebody mentioned that it wasn't an issue for them, but for some reason it is for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's conflicting, that one's conflicting with another mod that's, as a result, is having a conflict with the coal. I don't know, but as soon as I uninstalled that one or just turned it off, when you load up the game, you know how you can select what mods you want to utilize. As soon as I did that, it that coal production just started working like a charm, man. It just, I don't know. It's weird. Very, very weird that is the production that's causing it issues. It must have something to do with the selling, maybe, with the triggering of it. I don't know. It's weird. Now, what I think I'm going to end up doing is our little wind generators we have there. I think I'm going to maybe shrink those eventually. It's obviously not going to be today, but we're going to shrink those down to maybe one, possible. Well, maybe we do two still. I don't know. But I think I'm going to put one in the middle where the sheep are. I mean, it's just a tiny little pole. The actual wind portion of it's going to be up in the air. It's not really going to bother them. I think I'm going to put it in there. That saves us a little bit of space. And the more I think about the salt production we have there, the more I think I want to move it or modify it. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do so. It's going to be very difficult for us to be able to not waste or lose any salt that's in there. Now, I guess maybe if I turn it on auto selling, maybe it'll sell what's in there. Without it being a 4,000, but for some reason I feel like, this has been a number of episodes, but I feel like for some reason, when you have it on auto selling, it only sells once it hits 1,000 in that salt production for whatever reason. Most things don't work that way, but for some reason I feel like that's how it worked. I could be wrong. So I saw, right before I did this recording earlier today, I saw Rusty Money was getting ready to do a tour. Well, I guess he's going for a training, but he's getting ready to do a tour at one of the case harvester factories. So that's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully he's able to get some pictures. I don't know if they'll allow him to take any pictures or not back there. And there's a high probability that they won't, but if they can, I'm going to be very interested to see those pictures. That's not something I ever really thought about doing. So my wife and I, we whenever we go on a trip for fun for between us or whoever, we bring friends or whatever it is, family, whatever. Especially during family, I guess, to get us a little bit of away from our family every once in a while. We sometimes will. Oh, looks like the worker's done. I didn't see it pop up in the right hand corner. Anyway, we sometimes will branch out and go do our own thing, and a lot of the times we like going and finding tours. And what I mean by that is, maybe we'll go see a tour of like a bourbon distillery, or we'll go see a tour of, a beer factory or a soda factory or whatever, a pop factory, whatever you want to call it. Stuff like that is things that interest us. And I don't think I ever really thought about considering going to a harvester for agriculture, an agriculture factory, or anything like that. I feel like that would be really fun. That's something that I don't think I would ever think about doing until Rusty mentioned that. So we might be looking into that here in the future. Might anytime I'm somewhere that might have a factory like that, I might just do a bit of a tour. Now, it's obviously going to have to be more in the rural area. It's obviously not going to be in the city, more than likely. I mean, maybe it is, but I would suspect it's not. There's got to be something, though, in Ohio, I think. Some kind of factory where I could go tour. Something. Whether it's a harvester factory or it's a, tractor factory, something like that. There's got to be something here. But I could be completely wrong on that. I really don't know. I haven't looked. And that just kind of piqued my interest when he made that post. I was like, man, that sounds like something I would really like. Okay, I was going to say, I don't know what the heck he's doing. I guess he was just realigning. I guess he didn't like my line. Anyway. Now, these straw bales that we're going to have sitting out here, it's not like they have to be moved today. They don't. But Let's do a quick autosave here. We've got some things that we need to plant today as well. We've got canola we can do today, which I'd like to put some canola back down on the ground pretty quickly here. And then we've got the wheat and the barley that are coming up as well. I must not have put the drop back down. Hold on a second. So ideally, I think I'd like to keep these two bigger fields canola. That is, going to be a big moneymaker for us. And maybe keep the smaller fields more from the precision of the wheat and oats and barley and etc. I'm kind of also thinking, though, about maybe making a third canola field this time, which means that's a lot more work to do today, too, right? That's a lot of work. Last episode was quite a long episode. I kind of sped up in the edit. I sped up some of the time lapses up to like 8 times, I think, to help, shrink down the size of it. But we're probably going to have another, not that I'm complaining or any of you would be complaining, but I'm probably going to have another situation like that one here, right? Where we're going to have another episode of, 40, 50 minutes long, which nothing wrong with that. Just takes me longer to do, but there's nothing wrong with that. And we've got a lot to do, so I think that's kind of be how it's always going to be, probably once or twice a year, where we have so much going on for 2 or 3 months, it's going to be hard for us to be able to do anything else. And that's really part of why this challenge is such an interesting one, right? We've got so much that we're trying to focus on and do in a short period of time, and then you have to figure out things to do to kind of expand or keep you busy while the other fields are growing, right? That was kind of the reason why I was doing the rice field itself, but it was mostly for the crawfish, but I knew I kind of wanted to put rice in there too. But clearly, it is a very, very close period of time when the harvesting is for everything else, right? The drilling is a little bit different, but the harvesting is clearly very close. So we got a long way to go here, and we got a lot to do. Let's get going, gang. Let's see what we can get done here. It's going to be a long time lattice, but I will speed it up probably 8 times again, so it'll probably only be a minute or 2 for you. Okay, we're making good progress. I thought we only had today to do the canola. We actually have next month as well to do the canola, so we may be okay here. It may not be as bad as I actually had thought. We still have a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but with the ability to spread it apart between now and the next episode, we might be okay here. Go ahead and put that back on the worker. Let me move this kind of out of the way. I was going to put it somewhere down here in the middle, I think. Probably the best bet. So we've got one field already plowed up. Big, massive rocks have spawned. I know somebody's in the comments probably going to say, you know, you can just roll them down, but not when they're that large, we can't. And we do have periodic plowing on. Now, right now, all we're doing is plowing every single time. Really, what we need to do is get a cultivator or a harrow or something like that, because we don't necessarily need to plow every single time, even with periodic plowing on. So that would be a little bit faster. But again, the point goes back to, we're trying to save the money right now because we need it for that rice harvester. So perhaps after we're done with that, then yeah, maybe we can get one for the next drilling or seeding season, I guess. But we're making pretty good progress here. I think I still think I'm going to stick with my plan to have 3 fields of canola this time. I'm thinking it's going to be these 2 big ones here, and I actually think the other one will be the field that we're the worker is currently harvesting for us. I think those are going to be our 3 canola fields moving forward. And then the other 3 fields can be your cereal crop, wheat, barley, oat, whatever. Then obviously we'll have the rice field. And then we're going to make another field up there where the grass is currently. It probably won't happen this season, but probably in the next one for sure. Between now and the next one, I guess I should say for sure, we will be creating another field up. Well, we already have a field, but separating the field from grass and making another, whether it's cereal crop or whatever we decide to do, field up there. Kind of leaning towards, I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, but I'm kind of leaning towards doing something different in that field. Not the same canola or wheat or barley or oat. Maybe, I don't know yet. Might even consider doing potatoes. You know how much I don't know if you do know how much I've never really done potatoes, and that's because I just don't like doing them. I like doing root crops, which is a weird thing to say because potatoes are basically that, but there's just a few extra steps with potatoes, and I hate it. I hate it. So, and they just take an eternity to do. I mean, so does root crops in general, but I don't know. We might do potatoes, though, just because we haven't done them yet, so we might do potatoes. I might make a smaller field because of that. And maybe we do potatoes and put down a small production and make, potato chips or whatever, fries, whatever we decide to make. Fries would be good because we could utilize some of the salt that we have for that, right? Maybe, as long as the production it accepts the salt. It might just be a production where it just accepts potatoes and maybe oil and then, does everything else for you. But that does give us an option to do one where you would need salt. So we're kind of staying even here. Normally every hour we would make a small amount of money based off of our placeables that we have. But since we have a worker going for us, we're just kind of staying even. Maybe we're losing a little bit of money, I guess, every hour because of utilizing the worker. But that's okay. Without the worker, we would not be able to get all of this done in an episode. There's just no way. It'd be a 3-hour long episode. And I'm talking about prior to doing any editing or any time-lapse speed up or anything like that. It would be 3 hours of work for sure for me to do it all. Now, while I have no problem doing that, it's probably not the smartest thing for me to do, given real-life circumstances, right? There's things that happen in real life that I work and then come home and normally do one of these every night, and it pretty much is my whole night then at that point, right? So you got to figure out something to do for food and everything else. It's not a complaint. I'm not complaining, so don't take it like that. That's not how I meant it. If that's how you're taking it, it's not how I meant it. I just mean that there's not enough time in the day for me to do a 3-hour episode and be able to edit it and do everything that I need to do to keep up. I guess that's how I'll put it. Anyway, the workers going over there, finally. Looks like they are finally doing the traditional up and downs now. I think they've finished everything else. They do some really weird stuff in FS25 as far as doing the headlands. I kind of get why they do it, but it is still a little weird. He's got a full tank already? Really? And of course he's on the wrong side. Of course he is. Of course he is. They're still missing parts down here. It's just weird. I don't know. It's weird. We got another pallet. Looks like fine salt there, which is good. We're probably not going to sell that today. I'm pretty sure we looked in the last episode, and I think next month is the best time for most of the salt to be sold, and we're going to want to utilize that because we're going to need that money. Big time. Big time are we going to need that money. Yep, next month. It's actually really good right now at the little market. There's no guarantee that it won't drop from that between now and the next episode. Even though it still says it should be climbing, there's no guarantee. The average best price is 2,354. Right now it's 2,409. That's pretty good. How close are we to the flour of salt? That's my concern. I don't think we're going to get there. We are not going to get there. The flour of salt won't be ready until probably October. Maybe even November. I don't know. That's not good, unfortunately. I was really, kind of eyeballing that to be able to hopefully help us get to the point we need to be at for the rice. Without that, we might be in a situation where we are dealing with a little bit of withering. Or actually, we won't even be able to harvest it, will we? I think you can only harvest it in 2 months. Yeah. We have to harvest it next month. We have to figure something out. So that means we might be selling stuff on the farm that we might specifically want to keep. I really don't want to lose that. We spent a lot of money doing all of that. We spent a lot of money on the drill. I really don't want to lose that profit there. Giving and fully transparent, understand that if I sell stuff, I might end up spending more money in the long run, but I don't know. What does rice look like as far as the price goes, I guess? I might have got ourselves in a big trouble here. Turning it into stuff is definitely going to be a better thing for us to do, right? Rice rolls, rice bag, rice flour, rice oil. There's all kinds of rice. What about just regular rice? Isn't there regular rice? Rice saplings, but that's not... I don't think that's what we're talking about. That's your seed to plant in the ground. Well, I guess we'll find out. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe there's not a... Is there not a sell point on here for it? There has to be. I mean, there's a sell point for everything else, rice. What am I missing? Maybe it's called something else. Maybe it's not just called rice. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. Somebody in the comments is probably already yelling at me about it, but as I mentioned, I have not done the regular rice yet. I've done the long grain rice, but I have not done the regular rice yet. Let me get this set back up here and we can get back in there and look some more. No. No worker. I don't know. I thought I had it on steering assist, but maybe since I had to switch over there to the worker, maybe it went off the steering assist. I don't know. Okay, anyway. Where's my long grain rice at? Oh, it might be up here. Oh, it might be up here. We're in the section with the where it has it separated. Yep, there we go. Yeah, okay. So you're not going to get a bad price off of it. It's relatively decent. Even at September, it's still going to be decent. And it really doesn't fluctuate that much. It's a couple $100 in fluctuation. Not even a little less than $200 in fluctuation. So that's not terrible. All right. We are going to put this away. I'm not going to worry about plowing up the other fields for the time being. We really probably should prioritize maybe doing the grass. So that way we can make silage, which can make us some money for the next episode. The problem right now is, as mentioned many times, we've got to harvest that rice field in the next episode, and we have currently $20,000 to our name. That's not a whole lot of money. I'm going to stop the worker here. I'm going to try to save ourselves a couple $100 here. No, no, no. Get off the worker. I did not say start a worker. Now the straw, let's see, straw, there it is. Yeah, it's going to be slightly better than now, but it's pretty much the worst time for straw. Although it's, you know, $15 in fluctuation, right? So it's not terrible anyway. But that's not going to make us enough. It's not going to make us enough money to get there either. Ah, man, we're in a tough spot here. We are in a tough spot here. I think I'm going to look at something else here in just a second here once we kind of realign this for a minute here. Let me turn this back on to me, the steering assist here, so I can continue to do some research here as we're moving along. And I really want that Kubota. Let's see, cedars, here we go. So, we have this one. These have come out. These are the ones I was talking about. So we could technically sell that Massey Ferguson. We wouldn't get the full 12,000 from it, but we might get, you know, 10 or 11, and then buy one of the other John Deere or the Case that came out. That would save us, well, give us a little bit of money back. But would that get us to 95,000? No, not either. But I guess if we're getting close, that's an option for us to do, I guess, in the next episode. Man, we're in a bad spot here, aren't we? We're a lot worse off than I thought we were. The crawfish are going to be dropping. They're not great, actually. They're not bad, but they're not great. It's going to continue to drop. 1,877 just doesn't really seem worth it to me to sell at this point. Although we're not going to be able to sell them again until May. Oops, sorry, gang, hit the microphone. We are in a bad spot. We're going to have to do the grass. The grass will give us $10,000. We're going to have to do it. But man, that's going to be a lot of work. That is going to be a lot of work. How are we going to do this rice? How are we going to do this rice? All right, as you just saw, I decided to shift and go heavy on the mowing. I think that's the only chance we have. We're even coming close to making enough money to buy the harvester. Now, we have the straw as well, which, you know, it's technically the best time to sell it now. I'm not going to sell it today. We're going to wait and sell that in the next episode. It should be pretty much the same price, maybe $1 difference. That's not really going to make or break us for the rice harvester anyway, right? We can take care of that in the next episode. As far as drilling goes, we probably won't drill any fields today. We might drill one. It really just depends on how much longer it takes for us to do the grass here. This is going to be a long episode. I've mentioned that a number of times. We're going to do everything we can to try to get to that rice harvester amount. But we're going to need some help. We're going to need a lot of help. I really don't know what else to do besides trying to get the grass done here. Hope for the best with the grass. Hope for the best with everything else that we have that we can sell. Now, we have a lot of crop we can sell. But, you know, will get us there? I don't know. We're going to have to do a little bit of math here in a minute and try to figure that out. As a matter of fact, let's just take a look right now. 16,000 liters of canola at the best price. Well, I mean, it's 800 right now. It's not bad. Next month, it'll jump up a lot, so that's going to help. But is it going to get us there? Probably not. Probably not, because we're probably not going to be at 1,000. That's only going to be 16, even if we were at 1,000, right? It's only going to be $16,000. So that won't get us there. Oat, similar situation here. We're not going to be anywhere near 1,000 for that. Wheat, we've got a lot of wheat. It will jump up, but we're only making $500 and some for wheat. So, yeah, we're in big pickle here. We're in a lot of trouble. What we're going to probably end up having to do is sell some equipment that we have. Begrudgingly, even though it's going to end up making us spend more in the long run, but we're probably going to have to do that to try to help get us to that amount. I'm still not even positive we're going to get to that amount. We've got the salt to sell, right? And we can attempt trying to sell some of the other stuff. Somebody was telling me, like I said, about the road salt. We can try to sell the road salt automatically without having a sell point. We can test that out. I swear, I talked about this, I think, earlier or in the last episode. I swear that we tried that early on and it wasn't really making any money for us, but I could be completely wrong in that statement. But I guess there's a chance we could try that. The road salt, well, we don't even know how much it's going to make us, right? We don't even know because we don't have a sell point for it. I don't know. We're gonna have to play around some more, I guess, and see if we can figure out a way to get around this. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But there's a chance if we do things properly and we sell some stuff that we probably wouldn't normally sell, we might be able to get there. I definitely should not have put the rice in the ground this early. I should have waited. I thought we were going to be fine, and turns out we're not. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you put down that, you moved the shed, that lost $5,000 right there, and you're right, it did, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think the $5,000 is going to matter at this point. I think we're too far off anyway. So even if we hadn't moved the shed, I still think we were going to be in a bad spot. But I guess what we can look at is we're going to move all that stuff, right? And maybe we move all that stuff and don't necessarily put it right back down immediately. Maybe we wait to put it back down for a little while, right? I mean, that's the only other option I think we have here. The only other choice we have, really, is to try that. I'm just kind of going around the edge here. I was utilizing the lines. I turned the lines on, I'm sure, as you saw. Well, you can see it now, but I'm sure as you saw during the time-lapse there. I turned the lines on for the mowing. The mowing is the way that it mows. It's kind of difficult, so I just decided to turn the lines on to make it a little bit easier for me. You know, I normally don't have those lines on because I don't normally like the lines. I think they're kind of, I don't know. I don't like the way it looks. I like just having the lines set but not showing, if that makes sense. So we're gonna do one more pass here. I'm gonna turn these lines back off. Don't really need those on anymore. I'm going to try to pick up this little tiny strip down here in the middle, as you can see. Try to combine that, so it's one less trip up and down. I was hoping something would pop up in the used market for a forage wagon. Nothing has. I think I'm going to... I haven't looked in a while, so I think I'm going to jump back out to the menu here in a second after I'm done with this and see if there's anything out there as far as... mods go to try to help us with that. I don't think there will be, but I'm going to look and see. Maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be one out there that maybe we have to make more trips to unload it, but we could then sell our baler, right, eventually and go that path. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. Let me go out to Mod Hub and see what I can find. Well, given that I've started the baling process here, I'm sure you already figured out how that went. There is nothing out there, unfortunately, for us. So we're going to have to go the old baling approach, which is fine. That's fine. We've been doing it for a while anyway. But hopefully soon enough we'll be able to upgrade that. I suspect once we're done doing the baling of all these fields, including these straw fields here, we will probably be selling this baler anyway. Mostly because we're going to need the money to try to get to that rice harvester, so... Probably good to stick with what we have been saying or preaching for the last couple of episodes and trying to utilize up all the rest of the round bale net that we purchased, right? We've got a lot of bales here. I would love to have some kind of a bale loader of some sort. Auto-loading, we obviously cannot do. We're in this series, we're trying to stay away from super unrealistic things, and if we are utilizing unrealistic things, we've got to try to go the approach, like we mentioned. Whoops, there we go. It got stuck in there. Whoop, there we go. Knew that was going to happen. Go the approach of trying to limit, you know, what we put in there, like with Grandma's knitwear, right? We're only allowed to put in a pallet when it's full, and since we have such few sheep, it should, you know, limit it and keep it more realistic as far as the clothes being made. Now, normally I would not mow this entire field and put all of it into the silage pole in one sitting, but I do think over the next couple of episodes we're going to have plenty to do, so it's not really going to be too big of a concern for me that we won't have any grass to mow for 2 episodes, right? Because it really takes about 2 episodes before you can mow it again. Now, that will probably end up being the last mow. Well, maybe not. I was going to say it'd probably end up being the last mow of the season, but we might get one more out. I don't know. Just really depends on how long it takes the growth to start, and well, for I guess for this matter, for when the growth stops, right? When we're on the winter break. I can't believe I put myself in this position, man. I said I was going to do this really smart, and I've done it perfectly smart all the way up until the point I decided to put rice in the ground. Oof. Oh, boy. Never fails, though. It would be probably boring if we didn't run into some kind of an issue every single time we did one of these challenges, right? There's always going to be something that we're going to run into that doesn't go to plan, or... yeah, it... I looked at it when I seeded the rice too. I looked at it and I said, "Oh, that's pretty close." Kept on going though. We didn't stop, did we? Initially, when I started, I thought it was going to be, you know, like your more traditional crop where it's going to take 5-6 months for it to be ready, and that was simply not the case here. So that's the reason we're in the position we're in. May also have to be a situation where, you know, I'm just going to say it. We have to consider the loss, right? Just consider the rice field a loss. Because while getting rid of all this stuff I'm talking about, you know, it's things that I want to do eventually, you know, to try to move things around and make things set up better. It's probably not the most smart thing to do right now from a strategic standpoint. But I guess we'll figure that out in September, right? September is going to be the day. starting to get a little bit later in the day here. Hopefully we'll be able to get this whole field done. And all the bales over into the pole, too, before it gets too dark. Those of you that like the long episodes, you're getting one right here. I'm telling you. Even if I speed it up to 8 or 10 times speed, whenever I'm doing the time lapses, this is still going to be an hour plus for sure. Might even get closer to an hour and a half. Who knows? There's a lot to do still. There's a lot to bale up, and then we've got to pick all those bales up, and that is a slow process. That's 2 at a time, right? I could try to utilize the trailer, I guess. But I feel like that's going to take even longer. You know, you've seen me try to stack those. I'm not the greatest at stacking bales or pallets, anything for that matter. So I think for me specifically, it's just faster for me to pick them up 2 at a time and drive them over there. I guess the nice thing about this is normally we've been used to kind of only mowing, you know, a section of this grass field, where now we're going to be mowing pretty much the entirety of the field that we have left, and we're going to be putting all of that in there to turn into silage, which means it's all going to be ready at the same time. So we'll probably get the most money we've ever got from this grass field, right? Really, if we're going to stick with the baling of this, we need a bigger baler. Or even a square baler would be nice. That mod that I have yet to use, but everyone's using, where it's a square baler and it has the attachment on the back where it'll hold 3 and then kind of stack 3 up together. Like, that would be convenient, right? Especially given the situation of what we're trying to do here, where we have to pick them up and take them to the pole. That would make less trips for me and my life a little bit easier, but obviously the money is not right now for that. Lots of time lapses, gang, but we're going to throw another one in now. We're going to get this done. All right, believe it or not, gang, these are the last 2 bales remaining up here, and then everything is in the silage pole. Now, we have a few other maintenance type of stuff we need to accomplish today. One, the sheep need some more water. They only have like 100 liters of water left, something like that. So they need some more water. We're going to have to take care of that today, so we will. We also would like to move 1 pallet of wool over to Grandma's Knitwear, so then hopefully we can get another pallet of clothes out of there in the next episode. I would suspect we're pretty close. We are very close to getting 1,000 liters. I think it's 1,000 liters per pallet. It might be 2,000, but I think it's 1,000. Nonetheless, we need to move that over there. I've made a decision that we're going to sell the 2 pallets of crawfish as well. It's only going to continue to drop from here, and really, we're still going to be making money, right? We only spent $500 on them, so we want to sell those so we can actually produce some profit there. The bees might be... Are they in hibernation already? I don't think so. It's August. There's no way they should be in hibernation. We just haven't spawned a whole lot of honey. No, they're not in hibernation. I didn't think so. I wouldn't think it would have been in August. But we haven't spawned a bunch of honey yet. There's just a small amount there. So maybe they produce less than I thought. Oh well. So we'll pick up this 1 pallet here that is ready to go. Hopefully we get some more eggs here between now and the next episode. We could sell those. I don't know what the price is of eggs right now, but we could sell those. Unfortunately, the clothes are just, they're not going to be that great right now, but it's better than nothing, I guess. For the most part, it is technically free money, right? Besides what we paid to put down the production, or the pin, I guess, not the production, the pin, and, you know, the water carting, right? Otherwise, it's free. So, it's better than nothing. We also have some more coarse salt we're going to take from our salt production, put over here in the road salt production. So that way, you know, if we're able to sell them... Whoops, just screwed that up. If we're able to sell them, and without having an actual selling point, if we're able to sell the road salt without actually having a sell point, we can maybe sell a little bit more. We need 50 grand. Well, no, we need more than 50 grand. Sorry, we need 70 grand. 70 grand. How are we going to get 70 grand in an episode? I don't think this is possible, gang. I don't think this is possible. I think we really, really, royally screwed up here. There's no way that flour of salt is going to be done, is it? I mean, that was really what we need more than anything. We need that flour of salt. That's big money. It's not going to be done. It won't be done till October. Shit. Well, we're in a big pickle here. I don't see any way that we're going to be able to make it. Dang it. Even with all the silage we have in here, which there's a lot, right? There's 102 liters of grass in here. I mean, we're only going to be making $100 and some per 1,000 liters, right? Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. All right, let's do a quick autosave here. Let me see. What do we got? What do we got? So we need to drop the road salt in for sure. I mean, the coarse salt for the road salt production. There's not a ton of coarse salt, I don't think. Yeah, well, 2,000 liters. I guess it's a decent amount. Grandma's knitwear, we should be able to get to 1,000 liters of clothes. Yeah, there's enough in there for a little while. You know, obviously it's not a ton, but it's enough for now. Keep letting this thing fill up to max here with the water. Might as well. Because I don't know when we're going to be, you know, changing the whole production around it. Obviously, it's not going to be anytime soon. Huh. Okay, well, let's get this hooked up properly. I angled it the wrong way. Used to it being angled the other way. Let's grab the coarse salt and then, I might put something in the ground. We might do one of those fields with canola right now, just so we can try to split it up a little bit easier, or a little bit better. The issue we're having right now is how we had all the fields ready at the exact same time, right? That's the biggest issue we've had. Okay, that is done. Let's go grab the drill. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to drill one field to finish off this episode, this super long episode. And then I guess we'll see what the cards hold for us in the next one, and what we end up doing with the rice, if anything. Well, there wasn't hardly anything in that pallet, was there? Nothing in there. Alright, well, I guess we're out of fertilizer. That should be enough, though, for the time being. It's going to be difficult for me to get over there now that I've kind of separated all of this out, but that's okay. I'd rather take a longer drive over there and have a little bit more space to put some things in than have more room to drive things around, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't. Okay, we're going to do, I believe, the smaller of these two fields. Granted, they're both relatively large, but I think this one's slightly smaller, so we're going to do this one. And we want canola to go right back in this thing. I'd like to get rid of these big, massive rocks, but it's not going to happen. It's going to continue to damage our equipment, but it is what it is. There's nothing really we can do about it. Right now, that is not the thing we're worried about. What do you think, gang? You think we're going to make it? I mean, I'm just doing the math right now. I don't see any way we do. Unless we get lucky in the used market, which I never, ever get lucky in the used market. Unless we somehow get a miracle turn of events and the rice harvester is in the used market in September. I am not holding my breath. I never get lucky in the used market. I always get screwed. Normally what happens to me is I'll buy what I need and then the next month it's out there. That's normally how it works for me. I get screwed every time. Game hates me. I think that's really our only chance, is if we are able to somehow get a harvester in the used market. Maybe we get lucky with some of the productions making us more money than I expect. Maybe we get lucky with the flowers sold. I don't think so, but maybe we get lucky there. Maybe once we get rid of some of the stuff that we have over here by the shed, maybe we sell the straw, we sell the silage. Maybe we get lucky if we sell some of the crops too. I think we're going to have to sell all of the crops if we're going to make it, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to keep those. That's the reason we put those silos down. Here's a note for any of you that want to start recording. Make sure you breathe before you speak. Holy smokes, gang, I just had a coughing fit. I apologize. I will probably try to edit that out. I won't edit this portion out, but I just went into a massive coughing fit. I didn't have any water nearby. I normally have a glass of water with me because sometimes that happens to me. That was brutal. I apologize. I will try to edit that out so I don't blow your eardrums out with my cough right into the microphone. Oof. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, maybe there's a slim chance that we make it. I think that's what I was talking about. Whew, my eyes are watering, gang. Whew, that was brutal. Anyway, we're going to carry on here, gang. I'm going to get the rest of this field done. We've had a long enough episode as it is. I think it's time for me to leave you here. Thanks so much for your continued support. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out the other Vintage Survival series. I'm going to give it away now because this has already been... well, the Vintage Survival series would have been out by the time this is released. And for those of you still watching and you haven't checked it out, make sure you go check it out for me. Greatly appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff absolutely goes much further than you expect it would to help me out and the channel. Appreciate all of my members. Thank you so much. Cannot thank you guys enough. Quick shameless plug. A couple of them have been around for a long time. Matthew Nee, Frog, RJB. They have eclipsed a year of membership on the channel, which is absolutely insane to me. I believe Dan and Bayonet Farms also eclipsed 6 months. Cannot thank all of you guys enough. I appreciate each and every single one of you. It's absolutely insane. I cannot thank you for your support enough. Appreciate everything. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.